Hello, I am Santiago Zapata, the lead developer of Emerald Woods. Emerald Woods is a turn-based sandbox survival roguelike, and it allows the players to experience living alone in the woods. You are someone who escaped modern life to live in the woods, and you arrive in this area which is completely empty of people. There is no one living around here, and you can do whatever you want. You can farm. You're going to need to survive, so the game allows you to create or craft different things, but you're going to need resources for that. It has some elements of farm simulation games, but it mixes everything in a classic turn-based roguelike formula. It's a procedural game, so every time you play, the game is going to be different. You can see here that the game features procedural maps. So let's pick up this map and examine it. And if we look at it, this is where we are in the middle of the map, and this is just part of the game world. So you can see that there's some forest and some other stations that we can decide to look around for. So we already took the map, and we can see that there is a station to the west. So we are going to transverse this small forest looking for that station, and if I played again I would find something completely different. And as you can see, the game proposes a set of goals, but they are completely optional, and they are just meant to give you some things to do. So alright, so we reached this other station. We're going to go in there, and there's another aspect that Emerald Wood has, and there is like a underlying plot line that you may want to discover about these woods are filled with ruined buildings that were like used by some corporation over 50 years ago. So you can look at these documents that are scattered all around the land, and they will give you hints of what happened here with Genco, this corporation that had the headquarters here, and suddenly no one is living here. So what happened there? That's what you can find out if you want. So we are going to get this steel pot that can be used to cook, and also these seeds. So just as this station, you can find different stations in the map or in the world. There's another one to the north west, for instance. But we're going to go back. So around the cabin, we can create a small farm to survive. So we're going to use the wood that we got to build a fence around here, where we can plant some carrots and some of these other seeds that we've found in that station. We're going to put a door here, and we're going to get this stone and drop it somewhere else. We're going to, with the machete, clear up this tall grass, and then prepare the ground as you would like in any farming game, I guess. One key difference here is you don't have to water the crops. So as you can see, there's some elements of simulation as well. There's health, fatigue, hunger, and the level of things you're carrying. We are already getting tired, so we're going to seed these things that we found, plus the carrot seed that we start with, and we need that because we need them to start growing. They grow super quick, and we need to eat, right? And then in here into the house we can cook. So using that steel pot that we found, we can put it here in the fire, and then access the cooking menu, which has a lot of different recipes. You can roam the land trying to find stuff. For example, here we can attempt to do this to brew a little bit of coffee. So we're going to pick up again back the steel pot. We're going to grab some water. So we're going to store water in the steel pot. We already did. We're going to drop again the steel pot with water, and we're going to brew that coffee. So it's done, it's there. We can then pick up that steel pot and drop it here. It's hot, and we can use this cup to fill it with coffee and then drink it. Drink coffee from cup. We want to drink it, so we feel energized. There are so many things that you can do in Emerald Woods. You can also capture animals. There's a frog here, so they are kind of little monsters. You can examine them. This is a labilla, a small amphibian that loves to jump and eats nolans. So since this is a small animal, we can just pick it up. But for some of the bigger animals, you will need to feed them and then use a leash to capture them. So I can build a fence around this area to build a small home for this labilla. Now I'm going to go to sleep in the bed. If I was exploring, I will not have a bed readily available, so I would have to sleep by a campfire or somewhere in the woods. Come here. Okay, this is your small house, and they actually produce things like eggs if you feed them. So if I give this guy a knock nut, feed a labilla with a knock nut, he's going to feel happy, and then he may produce eggs eventually. There's also lakes and there's also mountains. So you see these mountains? These mountains, everything as I mentioned is generated procedurally. So inside you will find cool stuff like animals, like minerals, stuff that is different as you can see. Oh, for example, here there's a Kanxi. That's a medium-sized canine, very friendly, and this one is too heavy to pick up. So if I wanted to take it home, I would have to feed it first and then use a leash to bring him home. By the way, that there's crafting as well. If I press imagine, then I can see a lot of stuff that I can build, including I already did some fences, but we can also make buildings like with walls and tiles and even furniture, and also stuff that is useful like rafts that we can use to traverse the lake and fish some of the animals that live in this area. Another important thing that we wanted to include in Emerald Woods is that we don't want an auto map that tells you exactly where you are. So we are somewhere around here, for instance, and there's a station to the northwest. So we can try and find that station. There it is. So inside that station is the shovel, another critical tool that we can use to dig clay to build stuff. Um, and as I mentioned, we also find some more information about what happened here and some seeds, some useful stuff. There's also abandoned farms, and that's just the beginning because we have so much things planned for this game to include different locations like the bolts that the Genco had, which if you want to explore, well, you can do that and find lots of crazy stuff there. And another thing that Emerald Woods has is that it adjusts to your gameplay style. So you may want to just play like in a very relaxed way. There's always going to be some survival elements, but if you just want to live your life around your cabin and create a farm and get some animals around and live off their produce and cook some stuff, you can do that. If you, on the other hand, want to explore the land and find weird stuff, you can also do that. The game is not focused on combat. That is something that we have clear from the very beginning. You will not be leveling up your character or finding weapons to fight dangerous monsters or anything like that. We took that design decision to have combat not have a part on the design of the game as a very important part. You will be able to hunt animals, but and there will be animals that attack you, but in some of the areas like further down into the game. But the game will not be about building your character to be more strong or to find stronger equipment like more traditional roguelikes, but instead it's going to be about exploration, about crafting, creativity, and living your life here in the Emerald Woods.